What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Knives of the Round Table. My name is Marco, and this time we're going to be taking a look at the Red Horse Knifeworks Hellraiser. So what happened to me was that I started getting into the knife hobby, into knife collecting, and all of a sudden I realized that I had a weakness for titanium frame lock fripplers with blue hardware. That was my thing. I suddenly went and looked at my collection, and the vast majority of the knives in the collection were titanium frame lock flippers, with blue hardware, similar to what you see there. That's the Koenig areas right there. So at some point, I decided that I needed to kind of branch out, just get something that looks different, because not only did I like titanium frame lock flippers with blue hardware, I had like a specific style that I like, certain aesthetics. So this was one of my attempts, or this is one of my attempts at kind of branching out, okay, at getting out of my comfort zone. And I saw this knife in Nick Chavez's channel, and I think we can all agree that this looks nothing like anything else in the knife community right now. I mean, obviously it looks like a barber razor, but not as a pocket knife, not as an everyday carry kind of knife. So that's why I decided to pull the trigger on it. So this in this version, they have several versions, but this one is in carbon fiber, and this is I don't know if you can tell, S35VN. It has these red pivot colors and speed holes along the spine of the blade. So let me give you some size comparisons, because this is not a small knife. This is the Benchmade bug out and the mini bug out. Okay, so as you can tell, it's significantly bigger than those two. Now it carries remarkably well in the pocket. It's the smooth carbon fiber helps it a lot. Here it is against the Para 2 and against the Para 3. So the Para 2 is probably a better comparison. Blade length, or sharpened blade length, they're right about the same, but because it has this gigantic sharpening choil, and it has an even larger handle than the Para 2, which already has a really generous handle. I mean, if you compare them, you still have a good 1/4 inch in the back on the razor. But the blade, on the Para 2, you have this forward finger choil that gets you a little bit closer to cutting. Not the case with the Red Horse Knifeworks. So let me talk to you a little bit about the ergonomics of the knife. The curve, it's not a neutral handle in the sense that it's straight, but the curvature and the finger group actually makes it very comfortable. But I think what makes it the most comfortable is that the scale is contoured in this direction. Okay, there's a concavity there in on both sides of the scale, so that makes it fills the hand really nicely. Now you can feel the pocket clip, especially that little tip right there. It kind of pokes into your hand, so it's not the most comfortable knife in the world, but in a saber grip, kind of like this, with where the jimping is, the pocket clip kind of gets into the hollow of your hand, and it's fairly comfortable in this position. So the ergonomics are decent, and it's not what I would call its strongest suit, but it's certainly not something that is a negative or a problem for the knife. The action is it's a little bit different. It's thumb stud only, so there's no flipper on this, and by God, I can't spider flick this. So it's thumb stud only, but something that I forgot to mention, it has a fairly thick blade. So if I compare it here, So that's a comparison to the, well, to the Spyderco. So it has the spine of the Spyderco, but because it's not a tall blade, it's actually it feels a lot thicker. You know, in the Spyderco, the flat grind and the tall of the blade, how the height of the blade, it helps it a lot to become a really thin edge. Here, you get this flat grind here, and then it goes down, so you don't get as thin of an edge. So, but it's a large blade, and because you're moving a lot of material, so it still fires really good, but you feel like you're firing like this this large chunk of steel. So it's authoritative is what I would call it. It's you know, it deploys, and you feel it. You feel that it has deployed. Fit and finish is decent, you know. So this is a liner lock, and it came with absolutely no blade play. I think at this price point, the fit and finish is actually it's actually pretty good. I would have probably preferred like an M390, but it's a non-expensive knife. Certainly I wouldn't call it a cheap knife. I think it's like $200 or thereabouts. But at that price point, I do think that maybe M390 would have been probably a little bit better. I do like the design aesthetics. You know, the emulation, the kind of the double curvature that you get here, and when I put it in my knife cabinet, you know, it kind of breaks the pattern of all the knives that I have. You know, just because it looks so damn different from anything else. Now cutting with this, like I said, it's okay. So it's not a thin blade stock, and it doesn't come to the thinnest of edges because of this flat grind, but it comes really sharp. So it does a lot of the tasks well. I mean, okay, it can cut, but I wouldn't put it up against some of the slicer knives in my collection. Definitely, you know, you'll be able to do some food prep, you know, packages, cut cardboard, but it won't be the best at any of those tasks. I think it's a capable blade, but that's basically all I can say about cutting. It's not the greatest. Now my airing of grievances, things that I do not like. First, I think they went a little bit overboard with the sharpening choil. It's not a finger choil. It has a sharp corner right here. Obviously it works because it's huge, it's deep, it's tremendous, but it kind of brings a lot of attention to that area, and I don't think it's very attractive. I think they went a little bit overboard with that. I don't like, you know, it's weird. I don't know if it's just my sight, but it looks like that their logo, it's kind of blurry. Maybe it's I don't know if they tried to do too fine a detail with the laser engraving. But here's what I don't like the most, and it's a pet peeve, and it's stupid and it's idiotic, but you know, it's weird. The blade, it has the same curvature as the handle, but when you close it, you know, and I understand that there's standoffs here and all of that, but the fact that the blade is not perfectly aligned down here, you know, that it kind of sticks out wider in this area than in this area, I think that closed, it looks weird. So I would have liked if they find a way to just to lower the blade so that it more closely matches the curvature when closed, because you already have this flowing line when open. I would have liked to see that when closed. Now the clip, it works, you know, it's a bent clip, it has decent retention, but the pokey tip right here is sticking up straight up is not very good. I don't know if I mentioned, but the carbon fiber on this is really attractive. you know, because they have contoured it, you get like this flatter area right here that gives you the shimmer. But you on the sides where they contoured it, you get like this really nice lines, and I think that looks really attractive. Well, guys, again, this knife is me getting a little bit out of my comfort zone, uh, and because I'm getting out of my comfort zone, it's a little bit strange. It doesn't seem my pocket a whole heck of a lot, just because, you know, it's too different from my intuitive, from my first choice, right? What I reach for is not this. You know, this is kind of the one that I reach for in Halloween night, right? Where you want to have, you know, the something looks weird. But I definitely think that it kind of surprised me. It has a lot better action than I thought it would. You know, it does break the monotony of some of my collection. And if you want to try something different, I would definitely say give it a shot, you know. And it's the only way we can find out if there's something else out there that we might like. Well, guys, if you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and until the next one, take care.